Madagascar, the military-led government there, which seized power this month, on Tuesday appointed a cabinet of mostly civilian ministers, including some prominent critics of the ousted president Andry Rajoelina. Now, these appointments mark a key moment in Madagascar's political turmoil, as a military seeking to consolidate power on one hand, while they have to address the economic hardships and political divisions in the island state. Thousands in the island nation took to the streets in late September, protesting for about 2 weeks over frequent water and power outages. They eventually demanded a complete overhaul of the government. Even though these demonstrations, organized by essentially Gen Z protesters, started peacefully, they soon turned deadly, with security forces ordered to push back. The United Nations has reported over 20 deaths in the initial phase of those demonstrations. Now, Felix Ramandre is a professor of economics at Antananarivo University. When we spoke some hours ago, he estimated the country would need at least $200 million and anywhere between 12 to 14 months just to address the long overdue maintenance on the country's power plants. Lowering transmission losses from 20%, he says, will require even more capital and some fairly hard choices for the cabinet.
Yes, this is really the big issue for Madagascar nowadays, because we have this more than 20% of losses, and it is really higher than the average that are worldwide in the world countries. The common issues for this is much more technical losses, like a network, connection, root pillars, or the transformers, mostly due to overload. So in order to achieve a significant reduction in losses, for example, from over 20% down to more manageable, like 10% or 12%. There is a need first to modernize physical grid infrastructure. Key investments include replacing old, undersized or degraded conductors with larger modern ones to reduce resistance, upgrading overload distribution transformers. So all those measures might take like a $30 to $15 million.
The price of electricity is also quite interesting. There's a paper that informed this discussion in part from the IMF, where they pointed out that, look, Jirama is selling electricity at 13 US cents per kilowatt hour, effectively well below the cost of producing it. As part of these broader fixes we've discussed, the government has to raise the price of electricity, doesn't it?
Yeah, this is also a problem. No problem here in Madagascar. Like the cost of electricity is very low, and it really generate some kind of it takes huge amount of budget from public budget, because it's the states that try to compensate the problems of profit here in Madagascar. So because of this low prices for electricity bill, there is budget problems. Then the income taken from the commercial operation cannot meet the cost to generate electricity in Madagascar. So if there is kind of trade-off here, if really we try to increase this electricity price, so the question is like, is the people can people afford to pay such kind of amounts? Even at the current price, people are claiming that it's very high. So this can really cause to like a political issue. So if the decision is about rational behavior, of course we need to increase the electricity price.
Just looking at the tax situation that the country is in at the moment, right? You've got a tax to GDP ratio of around 11.5%. And on top of that, the government's spending quite a bit of money subsidizing Jirama, equivalent to around 1.3% of GDP. And Jirama O supply is around 2.7% of GDP as well. Can the government effectively fund all of these interventions that we've just discussed without blowing the deficit, without expanding it beyond the 2% figure that we saw last year?
Okay, yeah, that's very primary question that we discussed here in Madagascar. Like, is it possible to try to allocate some expenditure from department to the energy department? For example, Andriy the former president, I mean, the top president one, the top president, for him, he tried to like take money from education department and they try to allocate it into the to the energy department. So that way he can handle the subsidy without increase the deficit. So it depends then, like a priority, whether we're trying to find where is the money that we can reduce, with which department the money we can reduce, and try to allocate it into the energy power. So in that sense, we can manage to stabilize the deficit.